of you grew up in a household full of music, with both your parents involved with music, like proper music sadhana, not just casual music, classical music. So talk a little about that.
So, I mean, obviously she was more influenced with the music and with dad's singing and all of that. I was acting, so my thing got, little deviated. I got into acting. So I think she has a stronger influence on music.
Yeah, my dad used to have classes, regular classes in the house. And जब मैं school से आती थी तो whoever used to be there just sit with them and learn the ragas and everything, the tals and all that. So that's how my introduction to music happened. And my bua Lata Mangeshkar and hum to used to worship her. So I used to sing most of her songs and get trained through her. She and my dad both have been instrumental in, introducing us to music, classical. She always used to say that you can't learn music until you learn classic. That's the basic.
Also, we used to actually give playback singing. I mean, we started that way. Chorus, solos. Shivangi is obviously sang in many films. And like she, said, because there was constant music going on in our house. You know how it is, what the values and culture, how you inculcate in a child naturally. So that's what happened with us when music is concerned. So we heard and we kind of understood all of that. And what happened after a level is that we were attuned to such perfect notes and sur and all of that, that we couldn't really easily, just like any and every voice or anything of that sort. Because my dad was such a perfectionist. He said that one particular rag, a life can pass just learning one rag. Which kind of really, it's giving me goosebumps now, just thinking about it and hearing about like the passion for music, passion for singing with all these classical singers, musicians, all these ustads and everything. Like you see them, you hear them, and you really wonder what kind of dedication, devotion has gone into it.
It is true, because even I am currently learning music. My Guruji, Krishnarao Kolhapure. So it's been 6 years, but for me 6 years has probably been equivalent to 2 years. So, and I keep telling him, sir, I think I need to take another janam to learn it because I started very late. Of course, I did a little bit with my dad, especially I did it because of theatre, for my voice throw and for modulation, and music is very good for an actor. So I predominantly did it for that. So when I started learning music from my sir currently, so he's very sweet and he keeps telling me do riyaz every day, but it's not possible. As she said, you have to be completely dedicated to it, but we are busy with so many other things. Our professions are so different. We're not concentrating on music as such, classical music especially. So you need to really devote yourself. And when I'm doing my classes once a week, which I do, it's very less. I have to do my riyaz every day, but it's very difficult, very difficult to devote that kind of time in today's day and age, I guess.
Also, I'd like to add here, when my dad's Guru Bandhu, his teacher, his Guru was Pandit Kumar Gandharva, the renowned, obviously, classical singer. So dad used to always say that, he was some dengi hai devachi, like he's born with that talent. We don't know how he, sings and how the murkis come out and all of that. So dad used to, when anybody went to Kumar Gandharva to learn music, Kumar Kaka always said, I'm not the right person to teach you, Pandhari Kadeza, go to my dad. Like my dad was an excellent tutor with, he was really fab. I'm not just saying it because he's my dad, but.
So does it happen that because you've grown up with this kind of high levels of excellence, that none of you actually followed up classical music career?
Yeah, I would like to say that because like I said, we never trained. You have to be a trained singer to really sing the way it's needed and required, right? So I definitely didn't do that. Shivangi still learns, and you can
Yeah, I do music therapy based on Indian classical music. How those ragas and all, how they treat ailments and disorders, not diseases. Once a disorder becomes a disease, then it's difficult to treat with music because those become deeper issues. So if it's a disorder, like some anxiety, some stress, some memory problem, there are these ragas that cure that disorder. That's what I'm doing now.
Actually, Shivangi, every time, I go for shows and concerts, so I sing, right, on stage. So Shivangi always tells me, okay, sing this song from that film, because that is such a raga that will kind of, how do you say, entice all your audiences. So,
I give an example. There's a song called, which she sang, no, you didn't sing. Didyata sang, no? Yeah. Tumse Milkar.
yeah, that's
So
one of my
it's
popular songs also.
Like it's based on Shivranjani, and that is based on memory loss. So people who will remember a song, particular song, will be this song, because it's based on Shivranjani. And most of Raj Uncle's songs are based on Shivranjani. They never forget Raj Kapoor songs. Nobody.
Yeah.
So that's how, we have taken the legacy. My dad was very proud of me. He says, you're really amazing what you're doing. That it's not only restricted to classical, but you're going beyond that. So
Helping
this
people.
is, this is the base of our classical. Bharatiya Shastriya Sangeet is based on these ragas which cure, which help ailments.
In fact, we had a Shraddhanjali right after 1 year after he passed away, and Shivangi did sing on stage. She sang a very difficult song which he sang from Samrat Tansing, the film, very, very old film.
That was the first and last song he sang. He said, "Mere ko Hindi film music jam mein aa rahi, with due respect." So that was the first and last song he sang. When his sister said, Lata ji, that why aren't you singing itna acha? अरे अरे नहीं तुम्हारा हिंदी म्यूजिक मैं अपने क्लासिकल में खुश हूँ.
He was absolutely devoted to classical music.
Yeah.
And of course, if you see her in this picture, we have the Rudra Veena, which is passed down from my grandfather, Pandit Krishnarao Kolhapure, who was the disciple of Murad Khan Sahab. And Murad Khan Sahab was the disciple of Bande Ali Khan. So this particular instrument, Rudra Veena, is with us. So it's about 150 years old, and my dad used to also play it. So the function that's happening on the 16th of February, which is actually his birthday. So we decided to do it on his birthday. So he had a vision, he had a dream. As I said, he was absolutely passionate about classical music and about the instrument as well. He wanted to help promote it because there are very few Rudra Veena players in India, about 11 or 12 of them. And classical music, as I said, people have so many other options now, right? Especially in cities. We've, of course, moved into acting and theatre. Shivangi is also very busy with her life. You need to have that kind of time and dedicate yourself completely into this field. So my dad was like that, and he wanted to help promote Rudra Veena. So he used to have these functions every year. He founded the Veena Vardayani Trust. That was in the year 2000, and it's been now 24 years that post his death, we've been helping, we've been actually helping with his vision, trying to promote it and, trying to get it to the audience. So, as I said, there are very few artists who are there who are actually doing this, as well as teaching. So my dad had tried to, in fact not tried, he did manage to get it to the Mumbai University. So he had a couple of students who used to go there and train the students, but then of course after his death it was a different story. So this one we've collaborated with the Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, which is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Culture. So they have really helped in this, and that's how we've had it after a very long time, this function, and we've been doing it online during COVID because of various reasons, of course, and then we had a bit of a break. So now we've come back with this to just again promote the instrument and to keep it going.
So how did this particular function come together? I mean, how did you? There's a whole process involved to get in touch with the government and
Yes,
get a
it took
sponsor
about
involved.
3
Entire credit goes to her because you need that kind of patience, and you need to really, because getting things done at that level is not easy. So definitely all that credit goes to her, and
Yeah.
she's actually managed to.
Actually, that again happened. You take baby steps, right, into this. So I was asking around, and it's very difficult to get into the whole system. So Krishna Bhatt ji, who's my sir, he gave me a contact in Delhi. Chinmoy ji, he's a Supreme Court lawyer, and he's an avid music lover. In fact, he has a collection of all the old artists, classical singers, and he has a lab in Pune where he's got all these artists, their recordings, the live recordings, all the old recordings which are there with him. So he's so passionate about it. He has functions in his house and very small, those baithaks that happen. So he put me on to Sachinami Joshi ji, who's the head of IGNC. And that's how I followed up with him, and it did take some time. But again, I must say I was a little too lax about it, so it took
I
that
don't
much
think
time.
it was
But
that, because she also obviously has a very busy life. She's acting, she's
yeah,
a
so I was
homemaker,
whenever I could.
she has a young, girl.
my daughter.
So that obviously takes a lot. So to
So just the whole
balance.
back and forth that happens, that was happening, of course. But then after that, when they, I think, realized the seriousness of it, they just went ahead. And I was in Delhi last year. I went and met them, and Achal Pandya ji, who's heading it as of now, he's part of the conservation department. So I spoke to him, and they just went ahead with this program. So
And also the artists who are performing on that day, they are very excited about it.
yeah,
Um,
Savani, in fact, is Dad's one of
So
his
one of-
disciples.
So how did you identify the artists who picked
So as I said, we've been a part of Dad's functions right from the beginning. So we've, of course, know all the artists, and we've done these online functions as well. So Jyoti Hegde ji has been a part of our previous functions. Savni's was Dad's disciple, as well as she's also been a part of our function. She was part of the Shraddhanjali as well. So I mean, we couldn't think of anybody else beyond them.
Also, Bahauddin Dagar ji has been pretty
Yes.
much.
Bahauddin Dagarji actually has been very, very instrumental. He's been like this guiding light, where I've been constantly in touch with him, saying what is to be done now, how do we take it ahead. So
He's a
in fact,
Veena player. He's
he's a
running
very-
an institute
yes,
as well.
in Palaspe. And in fact, he's the one who put in a lot of. He had a lot of inputs which I put forth to the ministry as well, and I'm trying to work on that. And along with him, we are trying to do something. Of course, his support is there, and which is amazing because he is so dedicated again to that. I did go once because I have the Veena. I mean, we have it with us, so I took the Veena with me. He helped with the restoration as well because he works a lot around that. So the whole idea was to the project that he has is that get all the Veenas from the museum, restore them, make them good in working conditions, and have an artist play it within the premise or somewhere else. But that's a very, very ambitious project. But let's see if that happens, if it works out. And
Which
he's,
museum are the other museums?
so Pune has it, I think Kelkar Museum has it. Of course, even the National Museum in Delhi that has. There are a couple of Veenas that have been passed down. So those are there, like we have one. Hindraj Divekarji has, his brother has it. Now they are having a Shraddhanjali on the 18th, which is again in his memory. So Jyoti ji is again performing in Pune. So there are lots of them, and in fact when he spoke to me, he said So he went to Paris to a museum, I don't remember the name, Citade, I mean, something like that. So he was telling me that there is a Veena over there, or a couple of Veenas, and the way the kind of the conservation that they do is a different thing altogether. And he was trying to do that here. He's trying to get that kind of system here in our country, and also we were so troubled that our instrument has gone abroad, in the sense it's not here and it's not with us. So that was again, we were like, oh my god. So he told me about one incident that happened, that it was in, people don't understand, like if we don't play the Veena. I tried to go to Bhavdanji, but it was too difficult to learn with
Just
my
the
daughter.
position itself to play the Veena.
Yeah, so I learned the basics, Sarigama Padanisa, I can play on that. And, but it's, in fact, I played yesterday, my fingers gone completely today.
Like Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, my dad used to say, you have to see his fingers. And cut.
Yeah.
And so much, but still that didn't stop them,
Yeah.
Like,
So he was talking about this one incident which I must finish, that how people don't understand the value of it. So there was
It's a
one
spiritual
artist.
instrument,
Yes, of course I do. There was one artist who had passed on, and the family obviously didn't know what to do with it, so it was kept in a loft, and I think the Raddiwala took it away. So when I heard about it, I was like, oh my god, it was so sad that something. So people are not aware of.
It's a spiritual instrument apparently. It's Shankar used to play this.
It's a very revered
Yeah,
instrument.
and Mahadev he is the he ऊपर का जो है वो महादेव है और वो जो नीचे में है that is Parvati. So that's how it's a spiritual. I learned it in music therapy.
So it was played in the palaces, and our grandfather used to play. He was the
Baroda ka Maharaj.
He was the royal artist over there at Baroda. In fact, I went over there. I was shooting there, so I went and
So
met
lucky.
Maharani over there, Radhika Raje. So in fact, we were also trying to do something over there. In the Darbar Hall, he used to perform. So I was trying to get the archives out. There is somebody else who's actually working on the archives in Baroda, who's coming for the function.
They recorded the concerts.
Yes, they did. So they've got all these archives with them, and all these old singers, they've got everybody's footage. So he's in fact, he's coming, and he's making a book on that. So I was telling him, I said, if you find anything of our grandfather, we can.
Yeah, in music therapy क्या होता है ना, cello, then Rudra Veena, these are all spiritual instruments. अगर आप उनके strumming आप सुनोगे ना, you will be transported to another level. Of course, Rudra Veena is supposed to be played in a very private audience because it's a when they strum the Veena, it can't go very far, but it can reach out to about 200 people without the mic. अब क्या होता है कि वो ऑडिटोरियम में ये लोग करते तो they put some I think mics and all around them. तब जाके फिर भी it's not the same when you hear it personally.
Yeah, it is a different feeling.
Very different.
Do you have any of your father's recordings?
Rudra, Rudra Veena became Saraswati Veena because it was very difficult to carry the Rudra Veena. They made it into Saraswati Veena so it could reach out to people.
In fact, Jyoti Hegde ji is the first Rudra player, woman player in the world. So you have to see her,
Amazing.
the way she holds it.
Yeah.
And it's a really bulky instrument, the one that so everything is made to order. It's according to your size, it's according to how you hold it. So the Veena that we have is a very small Veena. So that was according to Murad Khan Saab's size, according to my grandfather. So I can also hold it, my dad could hold it, but Bhavdanji tried it, but obviously in a sense he's got a really bulky one, a very big one. So it's made to order. So hers is also, you have to see it. It's how
Who's making it?
So there are few people. There are a lot of people in Mira's That's a place. In fact, someone's coming tomorrow. Meera's isn't spoken in Marathi. Meera's.
Yeah. Also,
So-
you know,
There is someone who's coming tomorrow to just fix the one that we have. In fact, I forgot to bring it today. I should have gotten it.
so every time there used to be, you know, like Kumar Kaka's function or any, the Tanpura, you know, before a program, you have to tune the Tanpura. So all the Tanpuras were given to my father. Like Kumar Kaka always said, the tuning which Pandharinath can do, very, 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 very few people can do. So my dad used to tune the Tanpura before his function.
He's written 3 books, my dad. One was on his
Kani Yogi on
on-
Pandit Kumar Gandharva.
on him, Pandit Kumar Banerjee, and it's in Marathi and Hindi. And the second one was Shabd Suranche Bol Rudra Vineche, which was an autobiography, his life. And the third book was on Sadaram. Sadaram was the singer who started the Khayal Gaiki. So based on his life and his songs, they made a CD along with, added a CD along with it, with all, you know, all his songs.
So
गायकी मतलब कि not songs, they are called bandish.
So for people who are not conversant with classical music, what distinguishes the veena from other Indian string instruments?
It's very different.
It's
Very different.
it's
You can't
heavy.
miss it. You can't. It's very deep. The sounds are very deep. Like the sitar is very different. Yeah. So the Rudravina has, we call it bhoplas. Like if you see on the picture, these are the 2 bhoplas. The Saraswati Veena, which is there now in Ayodhya, which is it's a
लता
memorial.
जी का memorial है ना वो सरस्वती.
That's the Saraswati Veena, which the Saraswati goddess uses. So that has a small little
Small bhopla on top and the bottom one.
So
And
there
of
is
course
another
the
artist.
sitar is just one single.
There is one more artist who plays
It's
the
similar
Saraswati
to
Veena.
the Rudra Veena, similar.
Yeah. There are a couple of artists who play the Saraswati Veena. Rudra Veena is the different.
So you asked about my mom. I mean, my mom Nirupama. She was dad's student before they got married. So mom had a fabulous voice
I
also.
was just going to say she had a
Yeah.
beautiful
She had a
voice.
beautiful voice.
Did she learn to play the Rudra?
No, but she was crazy about sitar. She loved the sitar.
So did your dad travel a lot performing the Rudra Veena like concerts and stuff? Or-
So he used to sing. He traveled a lot with his singing.
He was basically a classical singer. And this was because this was in the family with tradition. Then later life he just picked it up and started playing it.
In fact, the book that he was going to write before he passed away was on Vedic music, and it didn't happen. But I have lots of his notes, so I have to actually refer it to someone.
Yeah, someone who can actually complete maybe it's almost done, so then in that case somebody just has to put it together.
No, it's not actually, because I remember
You can give it
had
a Pandit
stopped
Kati.
it, and he had stopped it.
Because he's a sitarist. Excuse me, sitarist. No?
So with this function, I mean, you have revived the interest in his work and in his music and Rudra Veena. So do you have any plans in the future to carry on this work?
Of course, definitely.
You will have a concert every year and stuff like that.
That's what the idea is. Yes.
Or maybe more than one.
I was planning to do this last year, but I didn't have the time, so that's how I managed this year. It would have happened last year. In fact, IGNC had given a go-ahead long back, but I took a little time because I was doing various other things.
Also during COVID, Veena Vardayani was very active with live performances of
We had
various
a lot
artists.
of artists.
Many artists.
In fact, Ustad Rashid Khan Sahab also sang for us. Kailash Khetri, Madhu Mudkarji also. We did a lot of online shows with Book My Show as well.
Okay. So that
So-
these were music shows in terms of vocal music,
Vocal,
not instrumental.
But there were one or two. Somebody played the sitar from.
For Book My Show,
from-
it was vocal. We had in fact an artist from Paris who did a live instrumental performance, and we had quite a few from Calcutta. Of course, Rashid Khasa was from there.
A lot of artists approached also Veena Vardayani when they got to know that we are doing these live shows. A lot of artists approached.
The whole idea was to, for that particular point, it was, we tied up with Keto for getting donations, and we helped a lot of migrants and emergencies at that point of time. So we combined art with social service.
So do you think one way of keeping classical music alive is also in some way modernizing it? Like Ravi Shankarji uses like sitar as a kind of fusion instrument. So you think something like that would work to popularize the roots of blues?
Well, I would think definitely yes. Not in terms of, see, the basics of it, I don't think you can, change. There's the Mohan Bhattila, I think, that has been changed. That has been changed. That is according to what he wanted. So, but in terms of the whole, as I said, they're very deep. The sounds are very deep. Like the Sur Bahar is very different. Rudravika is very different. You can't modernize them. Of course, as I said, it has already been done, but that's different. But maybe the things around it can. Like I always used to tell Rubeji, who again was my guru. So I used to tell sir, I said, आपको थोड़ा सा commercial करना पड़ेगा, in terms of how can you, keep the, you have your main stuff together, but around it make it a little more modern.
Accessible, I think.
I think that's what's happened now with Prithvi Theatre. That's
Maybe
something which I always wanted.
She's saying accessibility.
So if you see Prithvi Theatre, for example, it's still there. Like in the sense you have your experimental work, but it's just modernized in terms of you have a cafe there, you have everything else, you make it a little more glamorous, I would think. I think that's something which needs to be done with classical music. Glamorize it a bit more, I would think.
Did your dad have any thoughts on this?
Sorry?
Did your father have any thoughts on this?
It was very conventional.
So my dad had towards the end agreed.
He
and
did?
I made a website for him. So
Yeah.
so he was thrilled, and he obviously didn't think of it, but I got a website made for him, and he was damn excited. And I should always keep telling him, Daddy, please promote yourself. Please, be there. Otherwise, how will your book sell? How will it come out? How will people know about it? That is what I mean. Is for anything, I think you need to be there. You need to sell your craft. You need to sell your art. Otherwise, how are you going to be sitting at home and just, within you're happy in that environment? That is something which is good, no doubt about it.
I mean, there are a lot of artists actually
course.
who are happy in their own space.
Yeah.
They don't want to. That was actually my dad's. He was pretty much happy and contented. We used to do Ganpati programs in our house. He used to call his students and make them sing and sing with them. So
But that's very restrictive, So, of course, today what a lot of classical artists, they've gone abroad, they do shows abroad. I think that just gives a lot of weightage and popularity to the instrument as well as to the artist. So that is something, accessibility, you have to be there, you have to promote yourself. I think that's what's important. I'm not saying go away from your, modernize the instrument or no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying everything around it.
Okay, thanks so much,
Thank
and
you.
all the best for your event and
Thank
the
you,
wonderful
Deepa.
efforts you're making in paying tribute to your father.
thank
Thank
you. We
you.
need support from everybody.
I'm sure you got it. Your intention is there. You do
Yes,
get it.
Absolutely.
of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deepa.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Mumbai Theatre Guide.
Thank you, Keval. Thank you, Mumbai Theatre Guide.